Watch your asses. Reports show hunters are in the area.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Nicky.
And I'm Kyle.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we're talking about The Last of Us single player. Just a spoiler alert, they're going to be spoilers, so if you haven't finished the single player yet, I'd recommend not watching this video until you do. First off, I wanted to talk about, straight into it, the character development in this game, because by the end, I just felt really attached to Ellie in particular, but I want to talk about a few other games first. We've all been playing Borderlands 2 lately, right?
Yep.
And arguably, every character in that game is really likable, right? Probably because they're all funny. So that's one way you can get people to like your characters. Joel and Ellie, this wasn't really a comedy game. It was a lot more serious than Naughty Dog's other work. So they really couldn't go the comedy route. One thing that's really important, though, is you have to make people like your characters, right? So we all played Prototype 1, and me and Kyle played Prototype 2. Mm-hmm. And what was the main character's name, Kyle? It was Heller or something?
Alex
Mercer and...
Alex Mercer in the first one.
James Heller?
Yeah.
James or Jason or something like that, yeah.
Anyway, the second guy I just could not come to like for the entire game because they spent so long making Alex Mercer look like such a badass in the first game that I just couldn't make myself like Heller in the second game. And if you guys don't know, Prototype 1, Alex Mercer, he's infected with some disease and he has to find out why and uncover the truth and all that stuff. In the second one, you have to kill Alex Mercer and you're playing as a different main character.
Yeah, I had the same problem. Like, I heard people talking about how they were happy because they didn't like... A lot of people I heard didn't actually like Mercer, but I thought Mercer was a complete badass. I liked playing as him in the first game, and I didn't like fighting against him in the second one. I don't know.
Well, I can see how people could, like, not like him. I mean, it doesn't really... Like, there's no... I can't find a reason to like him, to be quite honest. I mean, he kills people.
Because he's awesome.
Like, he's fun to play as.
He kills lots of people.
It's not a prototype discussion, but what I'm saying is they spent so long making Alex Mercer likable in the first one, I couldn't come to like James Heller in the second one.
Yeah,
so
didn't like him at all.
They did the exact opposite in The Last of Us, where you come to like Joel, and then, well, actually, I just came to like Joel. They didn't really give me a reason to not like him and Ellie, although we're going to talk about Joel a little later. They really had the character development down at first because you could see Joel and Ellie's relationship develop, where at first Joel's like, I really don't want to take this girl out of the city. Later on, at the end, he ends up risking basically every person in the world's life to save Ellie. So the character development there, brilliant. Prototype did the exact opposite, where they just killed off a character I liked.
Dude, with Joel... Like, the reason why I like Joel was because they took, like, the Taken route, where he's, like, this 50-year-old man, maybe a little bit, give or take, and he just beats the crap out of everyone.
Yeah.
And then, and on my first playthrough, like, at the end, they're talking about, oh, this crazy old man came around with this little girl. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right, that's me. And then when I started my second game, like, when you're just walking around quarantine Boston, like, there, because I was searching for conversations and I overhear these people talking, and then one of them's like, hey, what are you looking at, weird guy who's just eavesdropping? And then this other guy was like, dude, do you know who that is? And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, it made me feel like such a badass. Like, I just kind of wish I'd heard that on the first playthrough, because it's like a spoiler as to how much ass you're gonna kick.
Speaking of multiple playthroughs, replayability for this game is, like, solid.
Yeah, I would say this single player has a lot more replayability than other single players, and I'm thinking of, like, I'm not including, like, Borderlands or, like, RPG element games. I'm talking about, like, compared to, like, a Call of Duty single player or something like that, or even what's the other Naughty Dog game?
Uncharted.
I think it has even more replayability than Uncharted, just because I think there's so many different ways. Like, in Uncharted, you can kind of stealth sometimes, but it's not really... Like, there's like one stealth area, right? In this game, you can choose stealth or running and gunning in, or, just punching the shit out of people. It's really... I don't know. I found it really fun, and I like the scavenging aspect. So.
I think the running and gunning is sort of like a crutch, and this game is supposed to, like, supposed to wean you off of that. Like on easy mode, they give you all kinds of supplies and you can like sponge bullets. But the harder it gets, the more you have to stealth until like survivor mode. You basically just have to
If you get caught, you're
everything.
screwed, yeah.
Like maybe you could get away with getting seen by 2 people, maybe 3, but.
And you have to be good at being stealthy because in survivor mode they take away listen. So you
Oh, they do?
yeah.
Although by then you probably have everything memorized.
Yeah, I'm playing on survivor right now and I know where generally everything is and where I shouldn't run out in the middle to. But the AI in this game, the only criticism I really have is the AI is a little unrealistically stupid, but I think they did that on purpose because you don't want them to be like, realistically, if they were as intelligent as you were, you're not getting past any of these levels. This guy's going to smoke you.
Yeah.
But there have been moments where I like take down a guy and there's like a guy 2 feet away from him and he doesn't notice. That bugged me a little bit, but this game, luckily, or at least I like it, is a little more realistic than Uncharted. Uncharted was like total fantasy. You have to go find these treasures and these magical worlds and all that stuff. This game, I think, not quite DayZ-like realistic, but it's... Well, actually, I'd say both these games are equally realistic, but this game made it realistic without being, like, boring. This game was always, like, super intense. You had, like, a realistic amount of ammo. You took care of situations realistically. I mean, not everything collapsed under your feet like in Uncharted.
I would say it probably got as realistic as a zombie apocalypse could get. Like, I mean, aside from, like, needing to eat and, like, shit. You know, it was pretty damn realistic.
I mean, I think the only things I can say about the realism is the eating and shitting part, but other than that, like, people don't drop bullets after shooting at you.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that bothered me.
And like you're walking around college, like, oh yeah, of course they have bullets just lying around. Like, no, where do they get
They have
bullets?
explosives and Molotov making materials.
You could say that
it balances out, kind of, but.
I was gonna say you could say that people like survivors who were there before left them behind or something. You know.
What I'm saying, though,
bullets,
they struck a nice balance between being realistic and making the game still fun. Because if you didn't find any bullets in that entire university, you would have kind of been screwed.
I'm just waiting for the zombie apocalypse game where there's like a gun store that's either completely empty that you visit or is just decked out. And after that, it's just like game over. But like that's the first place you would go. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, they did kind of have something like that in Dead Island. Remember, there was a gun store that you couldn't get into because it was completely locked down.
Yeah.
And so you do have to fight your way into it, and that was kind of like the focus. Everyone was trying to get in there.
Damn it! I never got in.
You never got in?
No, then I forgot where it was.
Oh shit. Although, you know,
Oh, damn.
You were talking.
Well, anyway, I enjoyed this story overall a little more because Uncharted, it seemed like it was good. Uncharted was really good, but I enjoyed this story more because it just felt more like, yeah, this could happen. I just enjoyed that.
If I could sum up this game in a word, it's intense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
I played through this game like in 2 sittings, but I finished it in under 24 hours. And after I was like kind of traumatized, I was like, it's too much intensity to handle in like 20 hours. I spent 6 hours sleeping and then like 14 hours playing through the game. And it was just too mind-boggling for me at the end. Just couldn't take it in that big of a dose. Anyway, on to our next point. So, Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age 1 and the Mass Effect series, those games all have these kind of non-linear stories, right, where you can make your own choices, right? And I really like that in a game because it feels like the main character is more personalized to you. And there are different branches, so that increases the replayability. But there are other games like Assassin's Creed and, well, the older Call of Duty's Black Ops 2 kind of had choice making. But The Last of Us was a completely linear game. There are no choices you can make in this game other than, like, well, story related. Of course, you can choose, like, stealth or shoot everyone in the face. But as far as this game went...
the door.
Well, yeah, you always shiv the door.
Yeah.
There's just no question about that.
There's no reason not to.
But I might need this shiv.
No. Actually, on survivor mode, I actually sometimes get up to a shivable door and don't have a shiv. So The Last of Us was very linear, and that's actually not a bad thing because it gave them they can focus more on what's actually going to happen. And with the pre-rendered cutscenes and all that, it just they had this story perfectly laid out, and Joel is not like a customizable person. He's who he is. So the fact that, I mean, like, Joel's a defined character, I just like that. I think this is a linear story that they really pulled off, whereas in Assassin's Creed, I'm like, sometimes I think there should be different choices.
There were a couple of times where it's kind of painful. Like, Joel can be a huge douchebag sometimes, and I'm like, come on. Like, I just want to be like, stop, no, just be nice. Because I don't know, I'd like to think I'm a
like
nice
when he
person
told
at least,
Ellie that he wasn't her dad.
Yeah.
That I was
Just like,
Joel,
wow, you're a huge asshole right now. Why would you say that? It's a little
if
girl.
I had a choice, I would have to pick the be nice to Ellie choice right there. But I like how this game really forced out who Joel was.
Yeah, because then
makes any sense.
Joel wouldn't be who he is. Because that's just part of his personality.
You know what? I want to go back to that part. It's like, did you really have to wait that long for the? Nah, just kidding. I'm your dad. Like, that was like one gun. Like, what was so special about sneaking out of that house? Just like, you know what? I like you again, kid.
Yeah, that is kind of weird how it happened so quickly.
That gunfight just brought us together. It's not like we haven't been in like 5 of those already.
Much more than that.
Joel did have time to think about it on the horse ride back, so maybe that's what got to him.
Maybe he was just pissed at her.
Yeah, he could have been.
That's
Could have been angry that she had
my
left.
main. Yeah,
It's got a bit of a temper.
That's what I'll settle. Yeah, he's just pissed.
You wanted to go for your proposition, though, Ryan?
All right. Joel is evil. Doesn't mean you can't like him, but he's evil. He's just selfish, really, throughout the whole game.
I would defend him, and I'd say, selfish doesn't mean evil. Like, you can be a good selfish person, like relatively good.
Well, here's why I brought up
And he was relatively good, kind of.
The linear versus non-linear thing, right? At the end, when he had to go save Ellie, right? I felt like if this were a BioWare game, they made Dragon Age and Mass Effect, they would give you a choice, save Ellie or leave, but if you left, then there's no gameplay after that. But anyway, Ellie being saved kind of was, it was definitely a selfish act, because it was Ellie's life versus the life of everyone, because they could have gotten the cure, the whole thing could have been over. But Joel, at that point, cared for Ellie so much that he wanted to go steal her, and it's for the good of the many to leave her, but I really can't blame him. He went through all that pain and suffering. He lost Tess, he lost his daughter, he lost everyone. Ellie's like the only one he has left besides Tommy. So, I can't blame him for holding on to her.
I would say also that if he had known that she was going to be sacrificed, he might have not done all that. Like, he wasn't aware of the fact that they were going to sacrifice her for science.
And when you think about like what he's lost, and you kind of think back to what's his name, the 2 black guys,
Henry
and Sam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're definitely a parallel to Joel and Ellie. What happens when Sam dies? Henry offs himself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like foreshadows like what would happen if Ellie got brain surgery.
I think he wouldn't be able
Joel
to make it
go
through.
crazy. But still, is that really justification
I don't know.
to hold out on a cure?
I would think he does bring up a good point though when he's arguing with Marlene. He says like she's not the only one, right? Like there could be other people who could also be immune. Like it's bound to happen. I think if it happens once.
Here's what I was saying. Like at the end of the game, when he's talking to Ellie, like when I was listening to him, like he may not have been like blatantly lying to her, as long as he's being like figurative. Like he says that what do you say exactly? Like there are lots of people that are immune, dozens.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's talking about, he's immune. Ellie's immune. Because they are survivors who will endure and survive, and They do not get infected.
He also said though that they had tried the cure and it didn't work, and so they didn't.
They're
work.
not
They've
like
been trying to cure it.
No,
Failed.
but they said he was saying that they had tested it on other survivors that were like her.
Survive.
So there's a little bit of controversy over the ending because people are like, it wasn't explosion-y enough, I guess. But what I'm saying is DLC. They got a season pass for this game. They're planning, I think, 1 single-player DLC and 2 multiplayer ones, or it could be the other way around. And the ending definitely left room for, my prediction, Joel takes Ellie back to Tommy's place, and that whole city gets attacked while they're looking for Ellie. Something like that.
I like the ending. It's a different kind of explosion.
I don't know. I didn't feel satisfied with it though. I felt like there should be some sort of closure. Like I was never a big. I know some people really are. They like those cliffhanger endings that just make you think. I don't want to have to think after it's over. I want it to be, or I want to be happy that it is over.
What I'm saying is they're leaving room for the DLC. I mean,
yeah. If they are, then that's good.
They're probably not going to go into like Bill's. I mean, it's going to go back to Joel and Ellie. They're not going to go into Bill or something.
Kind of a dick move. To just, like, really, they would end it in that place for the sole purpose for setting up DLC. Like that's that's like purposely not finishing your game so people would pay more.
Games are like that nowadays. I mean, look at season passes. We have Assassin's Creed 3. They planned the Tyranny of King Washington before it came out. They could have put it with the disc, but they want you to pay that little bit extra. It's because that's how games are nowadays.
But did they have a complete game?
Well, okay, I don't want to get into Assassin's Creed 3's glitchiness, but what I'm saying is they had on-disc DLC, and they want you to pay for it later. That's just how games are running nowadays.
But the story was complete, though, right?
Yeah, the story was complete.
Oh, yeah, the story was complete.
So Ryan's saying is it would be a dick move to not complete your story just so people would have to pay in order to have their story complete. Because that does seem kind of ridiculous if you think about it.
That's like selling like Harry Potter and like last chapter is DLC, man.
Yeah, making them pay extra just so they can read that last chapter.
Yeah, Nicky's being a little bit of a devil's advocate.
Then again, you just go to the bookstore and chapter without buying
That's true. Wait, what bookstores?
Oh yeah, they're all gone.
Dude, this is 2013. What you talking about?
Or you could just pirate it. I don't know.
You wouldn't download a car.
Nobody buys books.
Anyway, is that about it? Anything else you guys want to say?
I would download a car if I fucking could.
Exactly. Okay, let's not get into a piracy debate right now, but anything else The Last of Us related you guys want to say?
No.
Okay, final ratings out of 10.
It's out of 10?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Just going to hit you guys in the face with this.
Are we talking about single player or as
overall
the game as a whole? Ooh.
And that's factoring in full price.
Yep. I'm actually saying like 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I would say 9.
I really can't find anything wrong with it or a reason to not give it a 10. It's just nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever perfect.
It's not a perfect game.
Nothing's ever, but it's as close to perfect as I've seen this year.
Really good. Then again, none of us have played BioShock Infinite, which would be like the main contender. If I'm an Xbox user, I'd give this a -4 out of 10. Just to spite it as a PS3. I think it should be bonus points just for being PS3 exclusive. I'll give it a 9.
Speaking of which, there's this like PC elitist in the comment section of a Last of Us video. It's like, yeah, PC is better, but it's like, yeah, but can it run The Last of Us?
Silly.
All consoles are equal in my eyes, and PC.
What about the Wii U?
Okay, let's not get into there. This is some dark territory we're getting into.
We don't have a Wii U.
Just rate the game and go.
I will not submit my opinion about this topic because people will get angry at me.
Out of 10.
I would say 9. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would give it a higher score, except that the unlocks that I got for beating it on hard are garbage. Like his gold plaid shirt, it's just a spoiler alert. It's just a dirty yellow shirt that is brown that probably used to be yellow. But
that's one thing I loved about Uncharted is they're both. I know we're continuing. But their bonuses were cool. Like they'd give you unlimited ammo or one-shot kills or whatever for the extras. Here they just have like.
You could change the tint of his dirty shirt.
I would like an unlimited ammo and just run around with the bow. That would be kind of fun.
You know what?
Fun.
What would wow me more than any other clothing is just like clean clothes. Like, why isn't that an option?
Clean.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe the 0.5 I didn't give it is for the lack of customization. Like the multiplayer customization isn't quite as good as Uncharted's multiplayer customization.
Yeah, I would have liked more.
Oh, the taunts. I'm disappointed by the taunts.
The taunts in Uncharted were hilarious. Anyway, let's wrap this up, dudes. Any other comments? All right.
No. Sounds good.
Thanks for watching, dudes. Other Last of Us videos are on screen. Anything else, Ryan?
It's a yummy game.
Buy it if you don't have it.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, dudes. See you guys next time.
See you guys later.